Welcome to O'Connor's Right Stand, where we plant our flag for American liberty and swing a sledgehammer at the bloated, tyrannical government strangling our freedoms. It's Tuesday, June 17th, and good morning, Patriots. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. I'm John O'Connor, your host, and I'm fired up you're joining me for this epic marathon of truth. Last week we tore into the Trump-Musk feud, and your feedback was awesome. Well, almost all of it, and I'll get to that shortly. So I want you to know I'm reading every single word of your comments and your messages. This movement's about us, the people standing shoulder to shoulder for the America our founders envisioned. A nation of liberty, not control, where the government serves us, not the elites. Some of you called me out for questioning Trump's bill, thinking I'm wavering as a Trump supporter. Let's set the record straight. I'm all in for America first. Secure borders that protect our communities, lower taxes that keep your hard-earned money, jobs brought back home to American workers, and a government that respects the Constitution. But holding our leaders accountable isn't betrayal, it's principle. We aren't the left. We are not Democrats. We don't follow blindly. We fight wisely, keeping our movement sharp and unstoppable. In the conservative movement, we can have disagreements or arguments, but we don't shun fellow conservatives who have a differing view. We listen, we engage, we discuss, and then we coalesce. I'm always going to call it as I see it. I owe you that as the listener. And if you want me to blindly follow any political leader, then I hate to say, maybe this show is not for you. At the end of the day, am I happy with Trump? The answer is yes. But are there things he could do better? The answer is also yes. But there are hundreds of things even I could do better. I just wanted to address that right off the bat. So now let's just get into the rest of the show. Today, episode 2, is an unapologetic, exhaustive dive into the No Kings protests that erupted June 14th across 2,000 cities. Millions marched, slamming President Trump's $45 million military parade and his bold leadership. This wasn't a spontaneous cry for freedom. It was calculated, progressive assault on our republic, designed to undermine the will of the people. So, who's bankrolling this chaos? How did it explode so fast? And what's the real endgame? We are peeling back every layer of this conspiracy, exposing the money, the machinery, the motives, and the stakes. This isn't just a podcast. It's a battle for America's soul, and we're not sitting it out. We're going along today, Patriots, because the truth demands it. So grab your coffee, your energy drink, or your morning protein shake, buckle up, and let's stand tall for America, the America our founders bled for. We're dismantling this progressive plot piece by piece and rallying every patriot to fight back. Let's dive into the heart of this, Patriots. Nothing as colossal as the No Kings protests, with 4 to 6 million people marching in over 2,000 cities on June 14th, happens without a mountain of cash. These weren't backyard rallies thrown together by concerned citizens. They were a high-budget, meticulously coordinated strike, timed to clash with President Trump's $45 million military parade celebrating the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary, his 79th birthday, and Flag Day. The 50-51 movement, backed by over 200 progressive organizations such as Indivisible, Move On, the ACLU, American Federation of Teachers, Communications Workers of America, orchestrated this operation like a military campaign. So, who's writing the checks? Who's got the motive, the means, and the audacity to pull this off? So, first up, Christy Walton, Walmart heiress, with a net worth of $19.3 billion. On June 8th, she bankrolled a full-page New York Times ad urging Americans to mobilize for No Kings Day. Walton's no newcomer to anti-Trump funding. She poured millions into groups like the Lincoln Project, which backed Kamala Harris in 2024, and the Welcome Pack, pushing pro-immigration narratives that undermine border security. Her ad screamed, "Save democracy!" But let's call it what it was. Partisan politics dressed up as principle. Trump's America First policies, trade deals that protect American workers from unfair competition, deregulation that frees small businesses from bureaucratic shackles, and border security that enforces our laws, threaten the globalist elite's grip on power. Walton and her ilk aren't fighting for the little guy. They're fighting to keep their influence over a system that prioritizes profits over patriotism. But Walton's just the visible tip of a much larger iceberg. The 50-51 Movement's coalition ran a logistical beast that screams big money, bigger than one billionaire could cover alone. They trained 18,000 volunteers across all 50 states, hosted an ACLU Know Your Rights call with 18,000 participants, and built interactive protest maps pinpointing every rally from Philadelphia's 100,000 marchers to Sitka's Alaska's 300. Indivisible's 32-page toolkit, freely available online, was a masterclass in protest planning. How to manage crowds, spin media narratives, handle arrests, even dodge legal repercussions. That level of coordination doesn't come from grassroots donations or bake sales. It's a multi-million-dollar operation, likely costing tens of millions when you factor in staff, tech, travel, and advertising. So, who else is in the game? Groups like Open Society Foundations, notorious for funding progressive causes worldwide, are likely players, though concrete receipts are tough to pin down without a subpoena. Political reports between 2016 and 2020 show the Open Society has a history of bankrolling movements like Black Lives Matter and Occupy Wall Street. The American Federation of Teachers, with $20 million in political spending in 2024, is a key player. Why is a teachers union funding anti-Trump protests? Because Trump's push to defund woke education, critical race theory, DEI quotas, gender thought in classrooms, threatens their ideological stranglehold on our schools. MoveOn, with $30 million in annual revenue, thrives on mobilizing left-wing outrage, and their email lists reach millions. The ACLU, with a $500 million annual budget, has shifted from defending free speech to acting as a progressive attack dog, filing lawsuits against Trump's policies at every single freaking turn. Deportations, deregulation, you name it. Let's zoom out for historical context, because this isn't new. The 2017 Women's March, which rallied 3 to 5 million people, was backed by over 400 NGOs and millions in donations. The 2020 Black Lives Matter protests saw over $10 billion in corporate pledges, with companies like Amazon and Nike jumping on the bandwagon. Go back further. The 1960s anti-Vietnam protests were partly funded by wealthy donors like Cyrus Eaton, a businessman with leftist ties. The 2003 Iraq War protests had MoveOn's $1.5 million ad campaign fueling the fire. The 2011 Occupy Wall Street movement, kicked off by adbusters with grants from the Tides Foundation, morphed into a progressive wish list. And even the 2017 Women's March had Planned Parenthood and Soros-linked groups. No Kings is the latest chapter in this playbook. Billionaires and NGOs funneling cash to stoke division and undermine conservative governance. Contrast that with conservative movements. The 2009 Tea Party was true grassroots. No billionaire ads, just patriots in backyards demanding lower taxes and less government. It did take months to scale, but it flipped the House in 2010. Trump's 2016 rallies were fueled by raw energy, not NGO machines. No Kings is just AstroTurf, pure and simple, elite money masquerading as people power. So why now? Trump's policies are hitting the left where it hurts. His mass deportations, backed by 40% of Americans, enforce immigration laws the left wants ignored. His deregulation push is dismantling bureaucratic red tape, freeing businesses from the swamp's grip. His trade deals prioritize American workers over globalist profits. The left needs chaos to derail this movement before the 2026 midterms, where a strong conservative showing could lock in Trump's agenda for years. Let's break down the mechanics of their funding. A single full-page Times ad, like Walton's, costs upwards of $150,000. That's just one day's exposure. Training 18,000 volunteers requires venues, staff, travel, and digital platforms, easily millions in costs. Interactive protest maps need coders, servers, and maintenance, with tech budgets rivaling small startups. Webinars for thousands cost tens of thousands in software and personnel. Security marshals, legal teams, and media consultants add millions more. This isn't a grassroots budget, it's a corporate one, likely funded by a network of donors and NGOs with deep ties to progressive causes. The Tides Foundation, Open Society, and similar groups have funneled billions into movements like this for over decades. The motives are clear. These donors aren't do-gooders. They're strategists. Trump's policies, border security, deregulation, America First trade, threaten their vision of open borders, global trade, and woke ideology, embedded in every institution. By funding No Kings, they're betting on chaos to fracture conservative unity, rally their base, and flip the political landscape. They're not just funding protests, they're funding a narrative to paint conservatives as tyrants, while hiding their own power grab. Patriots, this is a call to action. Demand transparency. Push for investigations into protest funding. Support lawmakers who expose these donors, like those calling for IRS audits of NGO political spending. Fund conservative think tanks and journalists digging into these networks. Groups like Judicial Watch or Heritage Foundation. Share their findings on X, in your communities, with every patriot you know. The truth is our greatest weapon, and it's time to wield it. We can't let the left's money machine drown out the voice of the people. How do you rally 4 to 6 million people across 2,000 cities in just weeks? It's not magic. It's organization, outrage, and surgical timing. The No Kings protests didn't sprout overnight. They exploded after a carefully chosen flashpoint in Los Angeles. Anti-ICE protesters blocked deportation buses, and Trump responded with 1,200 National Guard troops and 400 Marines, leading to 44 arrests, tear gas, flashbangs, and viral videos that sent the internet ablaze. The 50-51 movement, led by Indivisible's Ezra Levin, saw their opening and added hundreds of protest events post-LA. Per their own statements, this wasn't a random uprising. It was a calculated blitz designed to capitalize on public anger and media frenzy. The logistics were staggering, like something out of a corporate playbook. The 50-51 movement's website featured interactive protest maps, pinpointing every rally from 200,000 marchers in Los Angeles to 750 in Ellenton, Florida, and even 300 in Sitka, Alaska. They trained 18,000 volunteers as security marshals and crowd organizers, ensuring tight control over their narrative and minimizing rogue actors. The 32-page toolkit available online was a masterclass in protest planning, coaching organizers on nonviolence, media talking points, legal preparation, even how to handle hecklers or counter-protesters. They avoided Washington, D.C., where Trump threatened a very big force, and made Philadelphia their flagship with 100,000 marchers to show people power. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment tantrum. It was a machine built on decades of progressive organizing, honed to perfection. Timing was the linchpin of their success. The protest hit on June 14th, deliberately clashing with Trump's $45 million parade. The M1 Abrams tanks, the Paladin howitzers, the 6,600 soldiers, and a fireworks spectacle that lit up the D.C. sky. The left knew the parade's optics. Tanks rolling through the Capitol would fuel their king narrative, especially after LA's crackdowns. Media outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and the New York Times ran 24/7 coverage of LA's tear gas and arrests, amplifying the authoritarian spin with headlines like Trump's crackdown on dissent. This mirrors historical protests. The 1968 Democratic National Convention riots in Chicago grew after a police clash with anti-Vietnam demonstrators, turning a local skirmish into a national fire. The 1999 WTO protest in Seattle exploded after tear gas footage went viral, rallying anti-globalization activists. The 2011 Occupy Wall Street movement used social media to scale fast. The 2017 Women's March rode the wave of anti-Trump sentiment post-2016 election. No Kings follows the same playbook. Use a flashpoint to ignite a broader cause, then scale with it ruthlessly. The coalition leveraged infrastructure built over decades, giving them a head start conservatives need to envy. Indivisible, founded in 2016 by Ezra Levin and Leah Greenberg, cut its teeth on the 2017 Women's March. MoveOn's been mobilizing progressives since the 1990s, with email lists reaching the millions. and a battle-tested digital platform. The ACLU's activist network spans all 50 states, with legal teams ready to challenge arrests or file injunctions. These groups had donor networks, trained organizers, and digital tools locked and loaded. Their webinars prepped thousands of volunteers covering everything from crowd safety to media interviews. Their website streamlined signups with a single click, connecting local organizers to national resources. This is a machine conservatives need to study and replicate. Compare this to conservative rallies. Trump's 2016 campaign events had raw energy, thousands packing arenas, but lacked the level of NGO machinery. The 2009 Tea Party was true grassroots, with patriots meeting in the backyards and demanding the lower taxes, but it took months to scale and lacked the left's digital polish. The 2020 Stop the Steal rallies were passionate but decentralized. Without the unified toolkit or training, no kings deployed. The left's speed is a wake-up call. Conservatives need to build our own infrastructure, organizer training, digital platforms, rapid response teams for causes like border security, tax cuts, or school choice. Imagine a rally for secure borders scaling to 2,000 cities in weeks. Our own maps, our own organizers, our own media push. It's time to build that machine. Let's talk about the speed itself. Planning 2,000 events in weeks requires not just passion, but cash and coordination. Christy Walton's June 8th ad was a public signal, but behind it lies a network of donors and NGOs who saw LA's crackdown as their cue to escalate. The LA crackdowns were the perfect spark. The 50-51 movement's toolkit urged organizers to amplify the LA narrative, coaching them to frame Trump as a dictator. Media played along, with CNN running a segment titled Trump's Authoritarian Turn and MSNBC hosting panels on democracy under threat. This wasn't organic growth. It was a manufactured wave, built on outrage and infrastructure. The left's speed wasn't just about LA. They'd been prepping for this moment since Trump's 2024 victory, building on their April 2025's handoff protest against his early policies like immigration crackdowns and deregulation. Overall, the 50-51's movement coalition, 200 plus groups, had email lists, donor networks, and trained organizers ready to pivot. Their webinars covered everything from protest safety to legal rights, ensuring volunteers were prepped and unified. Their website maps weren't just a tool, it was a psychological weapon, showing progressives a nationwide movement they could join with a click. This is mobilization at scale, and it's why No Kings went from a spark to a wildfire in weeks. Conservatives and patriots, we need to match this hustle. The left's infrastructure gives them a head start, but our resolve is stronger. Start locally, join GOP chapters, attend town halls, run for school boards, train activists to rally fast, like the left's 18,000 volunteers. Build digital platforms, apps, websites, email lists, to mobilize patriots in days, not months. Use our websites to share strategies, connect organizers, and plan rallies for our priorities: border security, tax cuts, and ending woke education. The left is not sleeping. They are prepping for 2026 midterms and the 2028 presidential election, using No Kings to test their mobilization muscle. They're betting on chaos to fracture conservative unity. Patriots, we can't let them outmaneuver us. Let's build our own machine and fight back. The No Kings protesters waved signs reading, "No thrones, no crowns, no kings," and chanted, "Democracy!" from Philadelphia to San Francisco, from Chicago to small-town Wyoming. Sounds patriotic on the surface, but patriots, don't buy the hype. Their real intention isn't saving the republic. It's derailing a Trump's America First agenda to pave the way for progressive control. The 50-51 movement's websites list their grievances: Trump's mass deportation, defiance of court orders, slashing public services, and what they call civil rights attacks. Let's unpack this nonsense and expose their true motives layer by layer. Start with deportations. Trump's enforcing immigration laws, targeting illegal entries. The left calls it cruel, but it's common sense. Secure borders protect American workers, communities, and sovereignty. Without borders, we're not a nation. We're a free-for-all. Court defiance. Trump's pushing back on activist judges who block conservative policies, like halting deportations or deregulation. These judges aren't neutral arbiters. They're progressive operatives in robes, undermining the will of the people who elected Trump. Slashing public services. That's about cutting bloat. Programs driving our almost 37 trillion in national debt. We can't keep borrowing from China to fund wasteful bureaucracies while our infrastructure crumbles and veterans go without care. And civil rights attacks? It's a dog whistle for the opposing woke mandates. Critical race theory in school that teaches kids to hate their country, gender policies in sports that erase women's opportunities, DEI quotas that prioritize identity over merit. The left's not mad about kings. They're furious Trump is delivering what we elected him for: secure borders, less government, and American jobs. Their signs tell the real story, and it's not about democracy. In San Francisco, marchers held banners reading, "From Palestine to Mexico, border walls must go," tying their cause to globalist open border fantasies. In Philadelphia, federal employees don't work for kings, implying Trump's a dictator when he's enforcing laws passed by Congress. In Hawaii, no dictator day, a cheap shot at a president executing his mandate. In Alaska, some chanted, "For King Salmon." Cute, I guess, but it shows their scattershot agenda. More about vibes than substance. This is about open borders, globalism, and woke ideology, not protecting the republic. The 50-51 Movements Coalition, Indivisible, ACLU, Move On, unions like the American Federation of Teachers, has a track record of pushing policies that balloon government power, from universal health care to green mandates that cripple energy independence. Their endgame is crystal clear: fire up their base for the 2026 midterms and 2028 presidential election, painting conservatives as tyrants to flip Congress and the White House. They're not just protesting Trump, they are laying the groundwork to dismantle conservative values: limited government, individual liberty, national sovereignty, for a progressive utopia where elites call the shots. No Kings is just a test run, a show of force to see how they can mobilize millions and dominate the narrative. They are betting on chaos to fracture conservative unity and rally their voters. Chaos is their weapon, and they're wielding it with precision. Incidents like tear gas in LA after bottles were thrown, and a politically motivated shooting in Salt Lake City, as well as 4 protesters struck by a car in San Francisco, feed their narrative of a nation under siege. But who exactly benefits? Oh, it's the swamp, the elites, the bureaucrats, the NGOs, who thrive on division. In LA, police reported 12 officers injured and 561 arrests nationwide. In St. Louis, traffic gridlocked for hours, costing businesses and commuters. Small towns like Pinedale, Wyoming, with only 200 marchers, strained local police budgets. This disruption isn't progress. It's calculated to destabilize communities and paint Trump as the villain. The left's framing these incidents as proof of authoritarianism, but they're the ones stoking the fire. History gives us perspective, and it's a playbook conservatives need to study. In 1968, the left called Nixon a warmonger to rally protesters. Today, it's Trump is a king. The playbook's old. Pick a noble cause, twist it to divide, and mobilize. The parade's optics played right into their hands, and we need to own it. I'll be straight, $45 million for tanks, jets, and fireworks stings when conservatives hate big spending. The parade honored our military, but the price tag and DC setting gave the left ammo to cry, "King." Trump's intent was patriotic, not ego-driven, but conservatives must call out missteps to keep our movement credible. The left wants us defending parade costs, instead of uniting for our own priorities: border security, lower taxes, and ending woke nonsense. They're betting on chaos to wear us down. Their real intention goes beyond protests. It's about reshaping America into a progressive dystopia. Open borders that erode sovereignty. Global trade that prioritizes profit over American workers. And woke ideology embedded in schools, workplaces, and government. This is a long game. 2026, 2028, 2032, and beyond. They're not just protesting Trump. They are laying the groundwork to dismantle the conservative values that make America great. Patriots, we need to see through their game. This isn't about democracy, it's about control. The left's using no kings to test their mobilization muscle, rally their base, and sow division. We can't let them win. Our response must be strategic. unite behind America First policies, expose their motives, and build a movement that outlasts their chaos. Demand accountability from lawmakers. Support conservative media and think tanks. Organize rallies for our own priorities. The left's playing chess, and it's time we match their moves with our own. Folks, the No Kings protests are a red alert for every American who values liberty over tyranny. This isn't just about the $45 million parade. It's a progressive conspiracy bankrolled by billionaires like Christy Walton and NGOs like Indivisible to derail Trump's America First agenda and reshape our nation into a woke globalist nightmare. The parade's cost wasn't our finest hour. Conservatives don't cheer big spending, and it handed the left a talking point to cry king. But Trump's fighting for what we elected him for: secure borders that protect our communities, less government that frees our businesses, American jobs that lift our workers. With 3.5 years left, he's got time to deliver, and we're not writing him off. The left's playing a long game, sowing chaos to fracture us before the 2026 midterms and the 2028 presidential election. They are organized, funded, and relentless, but we're built tougher, forged in the resolve of patriots who know what's at stake. Let's break down a battle plan, because this fight's demanding action, not just words. First, back Trump's policies with relentless pressure. Call your senators, your representatives. Flood their offices with letters, emails, and phone calls. Demand strong borders that stop illegal immigration, spending cuts that tackle our $37 trillion in debt, and an end to woke mandates like critical race theory or DEI quotas that divide our nation. Check the Congressional Budget Office reports yourself. Don't let elites spin you on numbers. Support lawmakers who fight for America First. Trade deals that protect our workers, deregulation that unleashes our economy, immigration laws that prioritize our citizens. Hold rhinos accountable. Primary those who bend to the swamp. Every call, every vote, every letter builds our momentum. Second, expose the money trail behind these protests. Demand transparency. Push for investigations into donors like Christy Walton, NGOs like Indivisible, and groups like the Open Society Foundations. The left hides behind democracy, but their cash flow tells the truth. Support lawmakers calling for IRS audits of NGO political spending. Fund conservatives think tanks like Heritage Foundation, or journalists like those at Judicial Watch who dig into these networks. Share these findings on X, in your communities, with every patriot you know. The truth is our greatest weapon. Wield it like a sword. Expose the elites who think they can buy our republic. Third, unite for 2026 and beyond. Build a movement that outworks the left. Join local GOP chapters, attend town halls, run for school boards or city councils. Vote in primaries to oust the Republicans who sell out our establishment. Organize rallies for our priorities. Train activists to mobilize fast. Build digital platforms, apps, websites, email lists to rally patriots in days, not months. Use our conservative websites to share strategies, connect with organizers, and plan events. The 2009 Tea Party flipped the House in 2010 with backyard meetings and just sheer grit. We can do the same, but bigger, smarter, faster. Hell, you just even share this episode with someone that might be interested. Think long term. The left's playing a 50-year game to lock in progressive control, from schools to courts to Congress. We need to match it. In the 1980s, Reagan built a conservative machine, think tanks, media, grassroots, that lasted decades. We need that now. Support conservative media like Newsmax or OANN, and this and other podcasts like Vince or The Verdict with Ted Cruz. We're not just voices, we're warriors. Fund think tanks like Turning Point USA or Heritage that shape policy and train leaders. Mentor young conservatives to carry the torch. School boards, state legislators, Congress. Build infrastructure. The left's got their machine. Let's build ours, stronger and fiercer. This fight's bigger than the one protest, one election, or one president. It's about the America our founders envisioned. No kings, no tyrants, just liberty. The No Kings crowd wants you distracted, divided, and defeated. They are betting on chaos to wear us down, to make us give up. But we're patriots, forged in resolve, fueled by truth, driven by the fire of freedom. Every call you make to your senator, every rally you join, every vote you cast in 2026 builds our movement. Together, we'll dismantle this progressive conspiracy and secure an America where freedom reigns, where the people, not the elites, call the shots. Well, it's about that time, folks. I hope everyone got something from this episode. In truth, the idea really came from my father while we were talking over Father's Day weekend. He was asking, how did this No Kings protest get so big so quick? I was on my exercise walk while talking with him and started seeing the masses build in downtown Knoxville, Tennessee. On the drive back home, that's when the idea clicked and my research began. So, thank you, Dad. And this is John O'Connor, holding the line unapologetically. Stay strong, stay fierce, and I'll see you next time.